Hi, my name is Lisa Giacomi, and I'm going to discuss a group that is currently in its infancy, but I have had the opportunity to lead several times. The most recent meeting that we have conducted was on September 24th, 2019 at 3:30 p.m., and it lasted approximately 45 minutes. The meeting took place in a classroom on the campus of Pennsylvania College of Technology, which is where I'm employed, and desks were set up in a rectangular fashion so that the students were able to face each other and we had more of a roundtable discussion. We also decided to keep the desks so that the students were able to jot down some ideas that they had or some important dates that we were going to discuss. The group consisted of student leaders with the designated name Allies Lead to Access, also known as Allies or ALAs. These student leaders were identified by myself as well as my coworkers in the Disability Services Office as students that we felt represented the Disability Services Office and were able to connect with other students in a mentor type of role. We also have selected these students because we felt that they would be particularly good working with students who are incoming and are new to the college experience. Our purpose of the group is to be a resource to other students who are registered with disability services, particularly those students with autism spectrum disorder. We find that those students do have a more difficult time developing social connections on the college campus. So we find that it is nice for them to have that resource as soon as they are on campus. The majority of the students who are leaders did participate in a training event that I held in August. This training event provided them an opportunity to understand more about the role that they were participating in, the expectations, as well as provide some opportunities for discussions on what their expectations are, what they hope to gain out of the program, and to also understand where they fit into the big picture. I opened the group by thanking them for coming and having them introduce each other because there were a few students who did not come and participate in the August training because they were participating in other trainings. I also explained to them that what we were going to do was go over some fall events that they were expected to participate in, as well as sit down and discuss some ideas that they may have for this fall and getting students together, and also brainstorming some ideas for the spring semester. As a little bit of an icebreaker, I had asked the students to talk about some of the things they wish they would have known as an incoming freshman, particularly as a freshman that was coming in planning to use disability services and accommodations. They agreed on some of the things that they wish they would have known when they were coming in, such as wishing they would have known that using their accommodations was much different than using accommodations in the high school or K through 12 setting. Some of the other things that they talked about, I jotted down so that we could bring back up in conversation later. So what we did is a brief recap of the August training, and then that led to the question of whether or not the training prepared them for assisting in the early move-in program, which we conduct the Friday before the beginning of the semester. This is a program open to students with autism spectrum disorder to help them move in a little bit before the major rush on campus the weekend before classes start. After this discussion, we did review some of the events that we would like them to participate in this fall, such as open house, preparing for placement exams for students that need accommodations, as well as helping us out with the career fair. I brought up some of the things that they had mentioned earlier and how they think we could help ensure incoming freshmen are provided some of the information that they don't feel that they had when they were coming in as a freshman. We thought about coming up with some ideas when we do the early move-in programming, providing those students with some tips or hints on, what to really expect once they're on the college campus. This also opened up a good discussion on getting this information out to all of our students who are registered with disability services. We moved on to communicating about students who have autism and what events on campus would be most friendly for those who have autism and how do we get them interested in those events. The students came up with great ideas and determined that some possible dates for events that they would also like to come up with, particularly for our students with disabilities and those with autism spectrum disorder. They also established that the main focus this academic year is to ensure that students with autism and other students registered with disability services know that they have an ally and have somebody on campus that they can turn to, and that they can feel as a student leader within disability services. And this student is also using disability services and can be a great resource for information relating to disabilities and using their accommodations, because sometimes that can be very intimidating for students who are new on the campus. I feel I fulfilled the role of facilitator very well in the aspect that the times I initiated a topic, I just let the group move forward with the discussion and observed and listened and jotted down their notes and input that they had. At other times, the students would have a bit of a lull in the action, so I would chime in to move things forward. In times that the group would kind of get off topic or discuss something that wasn't productive to the group, I would cut off the students and redirect and shift the focus. Some students needed encouragement to talk, so for those students, it was important to be sure that they knew they were an equal part of the group and that they were being heard. One struggle for me was that we do have a hearing impaired student as a leader, so it was sometimes challenging for me to ensure that she was being heard by the group, because the other students weren't so forward thinking into making sure that she knew that she was being heard. The student didn't always realize that someone was talking, so she would sometimes interrupt the other student on accident. And it was hard for me to cut her off because I know that she didn't do it intentionally. And with that said, I will ensure that we have appropriate technology set up in our subsequent meetings. We did establish a follow-up meeting in October, and it seems that the more I'm working with the group, the better they are about working together, and the better they are about communicating with each other outside of these meetings. In prior meetings, it was clear that I was a little less of a facilitator, more of not really a dictator, but more of somebody who was keeping the structure of the group, in essence of bringing up each subject, making sure that it was discussed, whereas now they are working towards discussing things on their own. Overall, the group was able to determine what they are expecting this academic year, what they are required to participate in, and they came up with some creative ways of growing the participation of the group from the students whom they are mentoring. And I think that we truly are establishing great ideas for this group and planning to move forward. Thank you for taking the time to listen.